Good afternoon, people. I don't know if everybody knows me. My name is Helga. I think that 4 people here know me. Yes? And this course is about how to write good papers in a way that we are not very used to. We are used to write and speak to the Brazilian people, to Brazilian community. And in this course, this subject, we are trying to speak to a broader audience, like English people, like English people. No, it's like the people who speaks English, but there may be the people from US, from UK, or people from English colonies, né? There are people in other communities, research communities, like Latin America communities, the people who speak German, people who speak French. All these people, they have a broader research community than the Portuguese speakers community. So we are going to try to write papers in this language because they have a broader community of researchers than ours. So we are going to write as a requisite to evaluation of this discipline. One paper of 10,000 words, and this paper is like 25, around 25 pages, but in English, English or US journals, they don't talk about number of pages. They talk in the submissions, author directives for submission, they talk about number of words. Then for the last paper I submitted, they asked 10,000 words paper. So what is the dynamics of this paper? I'd like you to write in this paper something about your literature review that you are going to use in your master dissertation. So here in Brazil, we talk about master dissertation. Abroad, they are used to call this work as a master thesis. In each country, there is a difference about how to call this work. But here we call master dissertation. Then your literature review in your dissertation is going to have around 30 pages. For me, for this discipline, we are going to have half your literature review as our work to pass this discipline. So if your literature review has 2 subjects, 2 themes, you are going to pick one theme and write a literature review and translate it to Spanish or to English, our two most broadly spoken languages, and the translated version to another language, you are going to deliver it for my discipline. I don't know if you are used to write papers in another language, if you are used to write first in Portuguese and then to translate, you can feel free to write in any way you feel more comfortable. In the first class of this discipline, I'd like to talk about one paper that basically it teaches how to develop a good signature as a researcher, and the other one that is in this folder is an older researcher. I don't know. Older researcher speech about how to be a good researcher. And the interesting thing about the text that I chose for the discipline is that there are speeches and texts about engineers, mathematicians, difficult word. And this first one, is about English language professor that tries to teach how to write good articles, good papers. This one paper is about how to teach, how she teaches how to write good papers in the college. It's a little simpler than we need to do in our level, but this one paper tries to teach how to develop our identity, and this is why I picked this paper. Well, the dynamics of this class, I'd like to have me reading one paragraph, and each one of you reading one paragraph, so you don't get tired of listening to me talking, right? Well, the title is A Basic Writing Course Designed to Promote Writer Identity, 3 Analyses of Student Papers, Barbara Bird. This article presents the results of 3 comparative analyses of 47 student papers in order to examine the effectiveness of a basic writing course, in college level course, in developing students' academic writer identity. Okay. You are going to see that the subject of the papers that are used in her class is how to write good papers. She didn't pick any particular theme to develop papers. Then it's like a meta perspective on how to write papers. Who would like to start the next paragraph? Our colleges.
Our colleges and universities, by and large, have failed in involved basic writing studies in scholarly projects that would allow them to act and not they were colleagues in an academic enterprise.
Okay, we are used to in the research medium that everybody pretends to know that everybody knows how to write good papers. So, if everybody knows, this does not need to be taught. Then I don't agree with that. Our professors don't agree with that. So we are trying to improve the quality of the papers by this course, this discipline, and the other one that I give research methodology. I'm looking like Helmer from Tiny Toon, but but okay. Who is next?
People learn.
People learn by
attention, and by taking on the identity of community membership among those who use literacy in particular ways.
Right. Next.
Students need opportunities for the kinds of writing context that help them both understand and join the academic enterprise. Such opportunities simultaneously help the students understand and adopt the identity of academic writing.
Right. Then the author she speaks about he academic entrepreneur. Just like it is a matter of initiative, of a willpower, the work of writing good papers. So in the first moments, we were very shy to expose ourselves to the scientific community, because we know that our paper will be criticized, for good or for bad. It will be criticized, and then we are not very used to receive criticizing, good or bad, in a good or a bad manner. And then as we grow a little older, we become less sensitive to criticizing, and we become more thick-skinned in Portuguese. And this thick skin helps us to deal with this criticizing. And then we become more bold to take this enterprise of writing. Who's next? This focus. Mm-hmm. Just the first phrase is okay. The rest of the text, I think it's better to be read at home, okay? Thanks. Next. One kind. Who didn't read it yet? It's good to talk, because we are becoming less shy, and to speak, to pronounce words in a wrong manner, it's normal. I do it all the time. Just like José Simão talks, we talk wrongly, but everybody understands each other, okay? Who's next? One kind? Okay. 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 May I turn off? It's okay. Better? Okay. One kind. Okay, it's a meta perspective of how to write good papers. I prefer picking a theme and developing in the better manner, the better way possible. And when we are trying to write our first texts, the the most I like the subject of the text, the better the text will be. I remember many years ago when I was in the test to enter college, my writing skills were terrible. And as I was trying to do a math course, I thought I wouldn't need to write ever. Then I had to write a dissertation at that time about domestic violence. And as I am a person that likes gender themes, this one theme was very suited for me, and at the first time my grades were better just because of the theme. So because of this experience, I am suggesting you to write in this paper for the evaluation of the discipline, to write about the one thing that you are going to work with in your dissertation, in your whole master dissertation. Because this one thing, if you don't like, you have to start to like, because if you don't get over this task. Okay? And 15 pages is half your literature review. The Portuguese version will be to your thesis or dissertation, and the English or Spanish version we'll use for our task. Okay. According Okay. And when you talk with confidence and motivation, you start to be more confident to take your own conclusions to things that you read before. So it's like proving a theorem. I don't know which better metaphor I can use, because this is the origin of my academic foundation. Then when you try to prove a theorem, or when you try to construct an argument, a speech, just like in law theory, you have to take many arguments or laws or previous theorems or corollaries, anything, to be the basis of your argument. Then the conclusion, only the conclusion, is yours. So the basis is from our research, other researchers, and then the conclusion is yours. If you don't have the confidence and motivation to speak, you don't draw your own conclusions. You just start reproducing previous research. Bartolome and Ivanic, I don't know how to speak this one.
Recognize the critical importance of understanding academic discourses conceptual knowledge.
Okay. In what follows? Girls? Okay. Now, these two researchers, Bartolome and Ivanic, I don't know how to speak this guy's name, were the two main researchers that talk about how to write good papers, how to develop your own identity as a researcher. Zoe, Bartholomew. Who? Okay. If you want a further discussion about this theme, you can read Boaventura Souza Santos. The original version is Pela Mão de Alice. And he discusses the universities in a postmodern perspective. And the other one is Thomas Kuhn. Is an older author. Is probably dead at the moment, but he does not speak about university as such. He speaks about the whole community and the dynamics of how the knowledge evolves around in time in the form of scientific revolutions. Then there is a way of developing the knowledge that is incremental, and the other one when there is a huge lack of knowledge that is accumulated, then there are the scientific revolutions. Okay. Authentic engagement. People? Okay. Then anybody told me this when I was at the master degree, and I would very much like to listen this advice when I was at the master degree. At the master degree that I did, they tried to make us mimic the other researchers' practice and don't develop our own identity. Then they interjected in us the ABNT norms, the style of the texts that are used in the management subject, but we were so afraid of writing that we did not develop our own style of writing. And when you don't develop your own style, the text don't flow. You just don't get to write. You are afraid of the paper and you don't write. And in this other point of view, if you develop your own way of writing by choosing a theme that you like, by choosing a way of speaking to a reader, your own way, the text becomes more flowing because you are expressing yourself through your paper, not only fulfilling the expectations of your professors and the scientific community. Then the basic advice that this one professor gives is that you have to pick a theme that you like, and you have to speak in a way that you feel comfortable with. So if you like to write like Bourdieu in an hermetic manner, you can write like Bourdieu or like Habermas or whoever you like. If your style is more like the spoken language, more simple, more didactics, you can write in this manner. This one manner is very common in the mathematics, in physics, science, when the researchers try to speak as simple as possible because the theme is already difficult. Then you have Richard Feynman, you have Isaac Asimov, and other researchers in the more hard sciences that try to speak as simple as possible. You have to pick the style that fits you the most. Okay, Bartholomew's and Ivanich's work as examples of social identity theory applied to the teaching of basic writing support assignments and curricula that emphasize both internalizing reasons for specific academic conventions, purpose, and ways of being academic identity. Okay, you can read. Okay. Basic
writing may experience tension as they negotiate how much and which academic identity characteristics to adopt, but it is so important to mention here that no student is expected to become a real academic. Revising correct social identity with one dominant academic identity.
Okay. And this one academic identity does not exist at all, because when you go to subjects like history, geography, and other more soft science, it is not forbidden to be a more politicized researcher. Then you can speak taking a strong point of view in your subject. When you go to management in the more mainstream streams, when you go to the more hard science, you cannot be as self-absorbed in your own point of view. You have to be a little, pretend to be a more neutral, because there's no neutral point of view, but this one, these areas believe that there is a neutral point of view. Okay, let's pretend. Okay, for advantage, who helps me? Okay, when you talk about the oral history subject, these life histories, these experiences that people go through are very important parts of the scientific writing, because in case of minorities or women and many other groups, there is no history talking about that subject. So if they don't speak about this experience in the paper, there will be no records at all of the other people's point of view about history. Then like in gender, they talk about a new subject called herstory, not history, because it's the history in the women's point of view. But there are another history streams that talk in this kind of thing. Although identity development. Okay. When you start evaluating other people's papers, even when there's blind review, there are some authors that are so distinct that even with blind review you can recognize that person because of the thing that the people chose to write and the style that the person styles to write. there are some authors that swear too much, speak low language in the academic papers, and these authors are well recognized because of that. There are authors that are the only ones that are talking about one theme, and because of this, sometimes the blind review process is a little prejudice. Across its 5-year development,
across its 5-year development, writing level curriculum, gain and increasing like focus on the purpose and function of academic writing in order to guide students in developing their own writing identity.
Okay. Next. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, quicksand, okay. Okay, Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Uh-huh. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, thanks. There is a series about in the perspective of Munchausen's Baron in TV Scholar, and it's a series not made for grown-ups. It's made for the kids, and they start to compare people like Nikola Tesla and another one that also studied electricity, and they try to compare to big personalities in science, and then submit to an audience of people speaking the language of common sense. Then it's instead of talking a purely scientific manner, they try to introduce the science in general to people that are not used to that. It's very interesting if you want to see. Another one is a series in also in TV Escola that they do like an interview with people who are already dead in the academic or big personalities from the past. They put an actor to study that personality, and then this one personality is in the chair to talk with the interviewer, as though that personality was alive with us today. Then I saw an interview with Monteiro Lobato. That was really interesting, because the actor has to be a incredible capacity of improvising and to study a lot about that one personality. It's just a tip to talk about research in a more funny way. But the autobiographic component is the presence of the writer in the text, primarily through the writer's own ideas, but also include the relevant personal experiences or examples. I know that I already told this for the ones that made the methodology discipline with me, but some people didn't see, so I'm gonna tell anyway. In my master dissertation, in the data analysis chapter, I started having some dreams that are correlated with the situations I was experiencing in the field. Then I very politely, very carefully asked my supervisor if I could put these experiences in the chapter. And then, okay, in the perspective that you are studying, that it's holistic, you can put anything you want in your chapter. It's you. The dissertation is yours to do. Since the experiences in the field or inside yourself are about the thing that you're talking about, you can put anything you want. Then if you look at my master dissertation, there are the dreams that I have that are correlated and are metaphors for the situations that are occurring in the field. So you don't have to necessarily put only the law about your subject, the writers, the texts, the papers, the statistics that there are about your theme. You can put some informal talks that you have had in the field. You can put your dreams. You can put whatever your supervisors let you put. Okay.